Hey, Mystic Michaela spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. Today, we are talking about rewriting reality with a narcissist, how narcissists tend to create a narrative surrounding around how they want reality to be and how the unaware empaths in their life get sucked into supporting it. But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. Before we get into all this stuff about narcissists and empaths today, I honestly want to say that, I didn't know what these terms were. Like, if I'm thinking if I go back, 5, 10 years ago, and you said, what's an empath? I'd be like, what are you talking about? It's not even a term that was in my vocabulary. Narcissist wasn't a term that was in my vocabulary either. So, what's going on today? I mean, these terms are thrown around a lot. I hear them all the time. I mean, I know we have one in the family, but one of each in the family. What's up with that? I don't quite get it.
Yeah, obviously these terms are overused. I mean, and as I've grown on this podcast and I've learned more about these things, like the thing is when you actually have one, like a diagnosed one in your family, like you know the destruction that they cause. Like you know what they've done to you. Like and you understand in your awakening exactly how much hurt and how much potential they sucked out of you. Like you recognize that. But throwing around the term narcissist, obviously that diminishes its destruction. I'm not a professional. I do not diagnose people. That is not my job. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a lot of our jobs. But here's the deal. What I do know about a lot of us listening, a lot of you listening, is you will pass off behavior, whether it's from a narcissist or a jerk, just a jerk. You will pass off behavior because you feel like you have to be tougher, or you need a thicker skin, or I can put up with it because, I don't know, they're having a bad moment in their life or whatever. The thing is, you can be supportive and loving and a friend to somebody and still care about how they're treating you. And a lot of us don't realize that. So whether somebody's an actual narcissist, which we just kind of use here, that term, or they're just acting narcissistic because they're in a jerky time period in their life, it's important to recognize some of these things, that even without a diagnosis, if somebody's not being nice to you, you don't have to put up with it, and you can set boundaries. And yeah, and the word empath gets thrown around a lot too. That's for sure. Right. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm an empath," so I can yell at you, or I can tell you something nasty about yourself, or I can cross your boundaries because I'm an empath. So no, an empath is an excuse to be a jerk either. And an empath is an excuse to be consistently victimized by something. Being an empath is, as we talk about in the Recovering Empath, episode 4 and episode 110, it's about stepping into your power in a kind and sovereign way where you put up boundaries, but that doesn't mean that you're insulting people or hurting people or encroaching on their boundaries themselves. So it's about personal responsibility and not an excuse.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Let me give you an example here, and then you kind of fill in, is this narcissist behavior?
Okay.
Is it a narcissist? Does it even matter?
Okay.
Let's say someone decides to take out a credit card in your name. Okay. They take out the credit card in your name.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, 2 times. Didn't happen to anyone.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And, then they spend money on it.
They max it out.
Yeah, max it out. They actually buy you things with it.
They do. Which you thank them for.
And you thank them for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they don't pay the bill.
Right.
So the way you find out that someone took out a credit card in your name is that eventually the creditors start calling you and say, why didn't you pay this, Discover card or whatever, Amex card? And you're like, well, I don't have one. And then you figure out that you do.
Right.
So.
And then you confront them and they say, how dare you?
Right.
How ungrateful you are. How horrific of a person you are for I guess letting me know that I took a credit card out in your name and maxed out twice and ruined your credit.
Right.
Yes.
So
that's narcissistic behavior.
So it's narcissistic behavior.
I mean, you want to diagnose them, whatever, not. This person actually was diagnosed, but whether you want to diagnose them or not, that's still not nice.
Exactly.
It's just not cool.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't really, I guess, matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't matter if they're called a narcissist, narcissistic behavior.
It's not
jerk,
nice.
Whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, and they weren't spending it on even anything that was I don't know, let's say a bill for their sick cat or something. Okay, it was on nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we could go on and on with these if we want to. But
Right.
I think we get the idea that it doesn't really matter what you call it.
And it's also patterned behavior. That's the other thing. It's not once. This is behavior that happens constantly to you from the same person over and over again in different forms. And then when you confront them about it, it didn't happen that way.
Okay. What about if, let's say, all right, now this one. All right, this is a death issue. What if someone dies in the family? Okay, you have a death in the family, a tragedy, and then the person says, hey, I need you to quit college for a while or whatever you're doing. I need you to quit your job or college, whatever it is, and help me through this. Is that a narcissistic behavior?
Do they have support to be helped through it already?
Yes, they have other people that can support them. They're married. They have other kids. Is that something?
Yeah, listen, I'm sure it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
And you already live at home? You don't live away? You already live at home.
You already live at home.
So you're there. So it's just like a couple hours a day you're not there because you're going to college, like you're commuting. Yeah, that's like very selfish to ask somebody to do that.
Okay, so it could be a selfish behavior.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the person's an actual narcissist.
No.
All right. What if the person tells you, makes up this story that they were at a concert. They were at a Cat Stevens concert. They were in the front row. Cat Stevens pulled them up on stage, and they danced with Cat Stevens to the song Father and Son. Very detailed. Sounds like it could have possibly happened, but, you have doubts on that.
It sounds like a grandiose kind of attention-seeking story, unless it happened.
Right.
Which, it didn't.
Because if you ask them a year later, they should remember.
And they didn't.
And they didn't.
They didn't.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we have a lot of examples here. All right.
We have so many examples.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do a little ad from FrameBridge. When we come back, I am going to do some what do we call it? Reality rewrite.
Reality rewrites. I have to tell you all about an amazing new service I found called FrameBridge. FrameBridge makes it easier and more affordable than ever to frame your favorite things without ever leaving the house. Add a gallery wall to your home office or send the perfect gift. From art prints and diplomas to the photos sitting on your phone, you can FrameBridge just about anything. So here's how it works. Just go to framebridge.com and upload your photo. Or they'll send you packaging to safely mail in your physical pieces. Preview your item online in dozens of frame styles and gallery wall layouts. Choose your favorite or get free recommendations from their talented designers. The experts at FrameBridge will custom frame your item and deliver your finished piece directly to your door, ready to hang. Instead of the hundreds you'd pay at a framing store, their prices start at $39 and all shipping is free. Plus, my listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use my code KYA. Order online at framebridge.com or stop by a FrameBridge store to work with a designer in person if you're in New York, DC, Atlanta, Philly, Boston, or Chicago. I love FrameBridge. I use it all the time now. I had a huge picture framed of my babies when they were little, and I hung it in my hallway. It took 2 seconds to hang because they give you the hanging kit, which is always a stressor for me. Well, it's not a stressor with FrameBridge. They give you everything you need. The nail, the hook, everything. It's right in the package there with really great instructions. Very simple. Get started today. Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift, which I've done too. It's a great gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code KYA to save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code KYA. That's framebridge.com, promo code KYA. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
So we know that narcissists like to rewrite reality. It's what we're going to be talking. So I'm going to be talking about today. But, I think you had an idea.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. So far in life, for me, things might not have gone exactly as I planned.
Yeah.
I'm a late bloomer.
You are.
I just got smart maybe 5 years ago. I kind of went through life in a coma for like X amount of years.
You recently woke up.
Yeah, I recently woke up. And, maybe, my backstory isn't that great. Everyone knows I went to jail for throwing eggs.
Your origin story.
Yeah, my origin story needs a little makeover.
Yeah, narcissists love an origin story.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, wait a second. If these narcissists can come up with like stories about Cat Stevens and dancing with Cat Stevens and all that stuff, I could do it too.
Sure.
And I'll just do it to fit my narrative that I need.
So you're telling me that from now on you're going to start telling people just straight up, false narratives about you.
Yes, exactly. And then what's going to happen, I think, I'm going to like get into the part really well, and then I feel over time I'll just believe it.
That's what happens to narcissists.
Yeah, I'll just believe it.
But then you're going to have to pull in some unaware empaths to like believe it too for you.
Yes, and that's great because I have all of you guys. All right. So,
well, we're aware, but okay.
That's true. You're aware. You have taken the empath. You did the empath starter kit and all that stuff and taken the classes with Mystic Michaela. But all right, here we go. I went to Harvard.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're starting there.
I went to Harvard.
Okay.
You got prestigious school. I just bought a hoodie from Amazon. It says Harvard on it.
Okay.
I got it in a couple sizes, colors.
Is it the official merch?
Official.
Can you buy, is it like Disney? I don't know how this works. Like, you know, at Disney, you can't buy like the official merch unless you're in the parks. Like, you can, but like the official park merch. Like, is Harvard like that too? Like, you have to actually go to their on-site store? I don't know.
Well, I feel our next vacation, we will go there.
So you're just going to sneak on campus and like buy one?
Yeah, I'm going to just buy one. Yeah, you don't have to sneak on. They have tour. You can do a tour of Harvard.
Do you think they let you buy the actual, like, because I bet that there's just like the Disney thing. This is how I have to compare Harvard, unfortunately, in my life. Like that they don't let you buy certain sweatshirts unless you're actually going to school there.
No, well, most people think that. Most people think there's like it's like a gated community. Like
yeah.
You have to like, show ID and all these things and
I would
to get
think
in,
so.
show your SAT scores. No, that's not true.
At the door?
Yeah, you show them. Like if you get under, I got under the mark. If you get under 1,300, you can't get in. They won't even let you in the door.
I wonder what the real score is.
You could just walk there.
You can?
You can walk.
Have you done that?
Yes, I have.
Are you really? Yeah. Oh, because you went there.
Yeah,
see, I tried to get you.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
What'd you get on your SATs to get into Harvard?
Oh.
You got better people prepared
almost a
for
perfect
these
score.
questions.
I had the same score as Doogie Howser. All right, so anyway, I have very fond memories of there. One of my memories is that I used to go to the Dumbarton Oaks Library. Yes, and this is a library that has a lot of books. Most of it's about gardening and landscaping. So, like, I had to take a class on it.
You
it was one of those,
Wikipedia'd this, I think?
I did not. You had to take a class. How you have to take classes outside of your major.
Oh, you do?
So I took gardening and landscaping. And, we went all around the world, and they showed us different landscapes and topographies and, the desert, the rainforest, all that stuff.
How come you can't grow a garden in the backyard?
Well,
yeah,
I didn't do well in the class. For Harvard, I got a B+. For Harvard, saying that's failing.
That's failing?
I failed it. Yeah, I got
Can
a B+.
you sing their alma mater song or something? Whatever those are called.
Go Crimson Tide, yes. Go Tide, go, roll,
I think that's the
go
wrong
Tide.
one.
But, I do recall, making, scheduling appointments to view the rare book collection. Mondays at 9:30.
Okay,
that's when it's available.
I don't think you're good at this. It's too specific.
That's what you gotta be specific.
But they're gonna people are gonna ask you questions.
Right. So ask me about my housing situation.
Like, did you enjoy Greek life?
Yes. Okay. So I lived at the Kirkland House.
Is that Greek life?
I don't know, but George
what?
Washington.
How do you not know?
Well, it is Greek life. Yes, it's Greek life. George Washington's officers stayed there during the Revolutionary War.
I don't think people talk like that.
They
go
do.
There.
Well, hey, I took part in the Secret Santa week at Kirkland House. We dressed up as elves. Yeah, it's a thing you do. All right,
name 3 friends, first and last names.
What from thing?
Harvard? Yeah.
Okay, Zuckerberg, Schwartz. Yeah.
Neil deGrasse.
And, of course, I was a member of the Harvard rowing team for a while.
Oh, you
me
row.
And that other girl from Full House, whatever, the daughter from...
Aunt Becky's daughter?
We were on the team together, 1999. All right.
I'm picturing a big Photoshop Scott head on something. Yeah. Okay.
And people now call me doctor, so... I put it on all my credit cards, like applicants. I put Dr. Scott. So.
You do actually do that on your hotel reservation?
Yeah, I do that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I went to Harvard.
Okay. So I don't think that plan's going to work.
All right.
I think narcissists are better at that than you.
All right. Well, I have another one, too.
Oh, okay.
Because, again, my background could have been better. My backstory could have been better. Most people don't know this, but there was, for a time, it was a short time, a 6th member of the Backstreet Boys.
Really?
That was me.
Whoa.
Yes. It was very short term. I had a falling out with Nick Carter. Okay.
Over what?
Well, it was over a song.
Okay.
It was over a song. We all know the song. I Want It That Way.
Yes.
Okay. It was, First of all, it was supposed to be I Want It Scotty's Way. That was supposed to be the title.
You had like an artistic conflict.
Yeah, so it was an artistic conflict. And if you think about it, what's the first line to the song? Do you know that song?
No, I mean, I know it. You're on the spot. I don't.
You are my fire. Okay, what is my last name?
Whoa.
It's about me. The song is about me.
It's Scotty's way.
Yeah. You are my fire. My last name, right?
Yeah,
Firester?
yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It didn't ring.
Can you bust a move? Can you show us some choreography?
Well, I'm going to learn that.
Oh, I thought you already knew it. You were the sixth member.
Well, I got to relearn it.
Oh.
Like rewrite, relearn. Yeah.
Who is the choreographer's name? Who's your manager's name?
Well, okay. Well,
yeah,
here's the thing. We formed in Orlando. And
you're so funny because like you think you can rewrite history by knowing all these like weird historical like back facts about things, and people don't ask those. Like people ask like what was somebody's name or what was the first city that you went to or
fine. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you that. Yeah.
Okay.
We formed in Orlando, and at that time we were just playing like malls. Our first gig. You want to know what our first gig was?
Yes.
SeaWorld.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's a good detail.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I don't get credit for this. I went to that, and this is also one of the reasons why I quit, because SeaWorld does horrible things to the animals.
So that's why you quit.
And I was one of the first people to say, hey, when I was there performing, what are you guys doing to the whales?
That's like a hero narrative. This works.
Yeah. What are you doing to the fish?
So you quit Backstreet Boys because you didn't agree with the SeaWorld first gig.
Right. And also that they didn't put my name in that song.
And I Want It Scotty's way.
Yeah. And honestly, I was really tired of Brian and Kevin bringing up their family drama. Their cousins. And they would always bring up their family nonsense. I didn't want to hear about it anymore.
You're better at this one. This one's more believable in the weirdest way possible.
Yeah.
Just because. Now, why don't we see you in any of the photos or whatever?
Once Photoshop came into play, I was out.
They just blurred you out.
They just blurred me out of the pictures.
That's horrible.
You could do that.
Do you have any merch left, like baggy pants or graphic tees or hair gel or frosted tips?
It's in storage. It's all in storage. It's in a locker in Orlando.
How come you don't have any tattoos? I feel like they all have tattoos.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right.
These are the questions I would ask if somebody actually told me they were in the sixth Backstreet Boy.
Okay. Well, for right now, I mean, it's starting to become my reality. I feel part of the group. Okay.
Okay.
All right. After this, I'll call Kevin. All right. So we'll make up. I'll have to hear about his Aunt Sally's drama. Okay. The other thing that I did, many people don't know this, that way back in the day, I met Jeff Bezos.
Did you?
Yes, he's the founder of Amazon.
Yes.
Everyone knows that, right? He went to Princeton, so I went to Harvard. I went to Harvard. So,
rivals.
Yeah, we were rivals. He always felt a little inferior to me because I went to Harvard.
Really?
Yes. I met him at a rowing match, of course, when I was rowing.
Oh, okay. Did he row too?
Yeah, he was rowing for Princeton.
Okay.
I think. No, I think he was the towel boy. Yeah, he was the towel boy.
He was the towel boy.
He didn't row, only I row. And we ran in the same circles, like those prestigious colleges. We ran in, so we would come into contact with each other here and there. If there was like a polo match or something, we would meet, sip tea or whatever and do all that nonsense. But here's what happened. He invited me on this road trip, from New York City to Seattle. All right, interesting, okay? Now, it was a long trip. At that time, we didn't have phones to scroll on and things like that. There was no TikTok.
What kind of car were you in?
Oh, it was a beat up car.
Okay.
Yeah, beat up car. He didn't have the billions that he does now.
He does now, right?
He only millions. So I figured, all right, why don't I bring a book? So I was looking through my books. I had an overdue book from the Dunbarton Oaks Library.
Oh, we're going to do the Jeff Bezos thing with the Harvard thing. Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was a choose your own adventure, and the book was called Lost on the Amazon.
Okay.
The book was called Lost on the Amazon.
Whoa, you gave him the idea.
Yeah, which I got from the gardening section from the rare books at the Dumbarton Library at Harvard.
It all fits together.
Yes. If you're still listening to this, I apologize. But, I was enjoying my book, and, every once in a while, I'd see him eyeing it. He'd be eyeing my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that you gave him the idea.
Where do you think the idea of Amazon came from?
See, it's just like a narcissist to take credit for an idea.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And he never gave me anything after that. Although he did call me up a few weeks ago, and he said, hey, look, do you want to go on my flying rocket ship? And I told him no. He said, fine, then I'm going to go with Strahan from, Good Morning America.
Right.
Michael Strahan. And I said, because planetariums scare me. Otherwise, I would be on that rocket. I would have seen space.
Space, yes. All right. So here's the deal. You, too, can rewrite reality if narcissists can as well. This is what you're trying to tell us.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to say.
All right. We'll see how successful you are at that. You're a little bit like your facts, like I said, are a little bit historical, not like current, but
I'll work on them. I'll make it more believable.
Yeah, you
and
got to
then
believe
eventually
it.
it's going to become a reality, and
Well,
that's
true
what happened.
narcissists, they believe their own
truly
stuff.
believe
They
it.
truly do.
Yeah. All right.
And maybe it's not a lie if you believe it.
That's right.
Yeah. We're talking about the nature of reality last week.
Yeah, if you believe that's your truth.
Maybe that for them, that is.
That could be your truth, yeah. So you're not lying then, I guess, in a way. All right, we have a couple ads, and then when we come back, you're going to talk about rewriting reality with narcissists.
What if you could use science to discover more about your body all year long? Give yourself more clarity and better understand your health and wellness with Everly Well at-home lab tests. Everly Well at-home lab tests give you physician-reviewed results and personalized insights so you can take action on your health and wellness, all at an affordable and transparent cost. With over 30 tests, you'll be able to choose the ones that make the most sense for you. Food sensitivity, metabolism, sleep and stress, and thyroid are just a few of the many options. Here's how it works. Everly Well ships your at-home lab test straight to you with everything needed for a simple sample collection. Using the prepaid shipping label, mail your test back to a certified lab. In just days, your physician-reviewed results and actionable insights are sent to your device. And you can share results with your primary care physician to help you guide the next steps. I was dealing with like bloating and discomfort for a really long time. So I took the food sensitivity test, and wow. Two of the things I was most sensitive to, I was eating like every day. And with the elimination diet, I was really able to curb those issues. And I mean, just the insight is priceless. For only $24.99 a month, the Everly Well Control membership puts your health and wellness in your hands with proactive testing. Select one qualifying at-home lab test of your choice each month and enjoy membership benefits like exclusive offers, savings, and more. And for listeners of the show, Everly Well is offering a special discount of 20% off an at-home lab test with everlywell.com/KYA. That's everlywell.com/KYA for 20% off your at-home lab test. everlywell.com/KYA. What would life look like if you didn't have high interest loans or credit card debt? Would you move to a new city? Would you maybe start off things differently in life? Through Upstart, you can pay off your existing debt quickly with a personal loan so you can tackle your next big financial goal. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit card score. So rather than looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in just 5 minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You could even receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/KYA. That's upstart.com/KYA. Please don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/KYA. I was really interested in the topic of how narcissists rewrite reality. And so I wanted to talk about that today from an aura perspective, with the hopes that in understanding some of the patterns you may see in different aura colors, you might be able to more readily identify them in your life and also be more self-aware about your own roles that you can play in these specific reality bubbles of narcissists. Okay, so narcissism is a personality disorder, and I am super not an expert. 100%, I'm not a professional. I don't diagnose people. I don't want to diagnose people at all. The way that I approach it is from an energetic mind frame. You know, narcissists and narcissistic behavior can come from actually being one, but it can also come from somebody who just lives without a ton of self-awareness and have maybe developed some really bad habits. It can come from being a flying monkey, meaning that's an empath that has absorbed the agenda of a narcissist, and therefore they can act a lot like the narcissist themselves. It can just come from somebody who is maybe around a narcissist for a long time, and instead of going one way, they went full in, and they're that way themselves. So here's the thing. No matter the reason for why somebody's treating you a certain way, it doesn't, and I think that we have to be careful with that as absorbent and highly sensitive people, which a lot of us listening, a lot of you all listening are, is that we're really quick to give excuses to the people that treat us not so well. It's just who we are. It's what we do, because we feel that inner child within. And one of the biggest things that I did to help myself, and I'm still working on it, is you have to see that somebody's actions and behaviors towards you are separate from who they are inside. And when they align, and, you know, somebody's good inside and they're good to you, that's great. But when somebody's good inside and not nice to you, you don't have to stay there for that, and you don't have to deal with that, and you don't have to be the one to fix it. So that's important for me to try to tell you, because I had to learn that myself. If you haven't listened to episode 4, The Recovering Empath, or episode 110, which is the Empath Starter Kit, I highly recommend, because I talk a lot about the unique, I guess, process and the download that I received from Spirit in regards to what I call the recovering empath, which are the steps all empaths kind of go through and need to understand about themselves to live your life as authentically and as free as you possibly can. But again, I'm not an expert. And as we talk about these things and you think, oh, wait, I've done that before. I've done that narcissistic behavior before, or I went through a phase where I did that, or someone's done that to me. My friend did that to me a couple of years ago. It doesn't mean, that's the thing. Like, we all have our moments. That's for sure. This type of behavior is like narcissistic behavior. It's a pattern. So it's somebody that acts this way all the time. It's like they're consistent about acting for number one, who they are. They're very consistent about looking out for number one themselves. So keep that in mind. It's not a phase that you went through, or a phase that a friend went through, or they were just going through something and they weren't an awesome person or couldn't be an awesome person for a while. That's different. You know, we all go through stuff. This is a pattern of behavior. So in Psychology Today, I was reading this interesting thing. Okay, so expecting special attention and feeling entitled are key features of narcissism. There are times when, without realizing it, even an ordinary person can get swept up in this narcissistic frame of mind, which they call the narcissist bubble. However, narcissists can enter a more permanent place they call the narcissistic bubble. So as I said, it's different than a phase. It's a more permanent location of the bubble. And here's the thing, like making sure that it doesn't burst, and creating an impact with the reality the rest of us are more familiar with, that's their number one goal subconsciously. Therefore, and this is the link here between narcissists and empaths, is there's a lot, they need you. They need unaware empaths and programmed empaths to maintain this bubble. So they need empaths, which can feel other people's feelings as their own and absorb reality and pretend it's real with them, so that their bubble does not get burst. So a lot of times narcissists will just feed off empaths to make sure that they get the information and the support and the confidence that their narcissist bubble, that their false reality is real. And a lot of us, when we're unaware or programmed, we do that for people. And when you realize that that's something that you did, then you get set free. The relationship between what I call recovering empaths and the narcissists, or people that act narcissistic, is what is really fascinating to me. So these narcissistic people are in need of constant love, attention, adoration, adulation. And unaware empaths, when you don't know you're an empath, you don't understand what your power is, you're in need of constant outside environmental validation. So your emptiness feeds theirs, and their emptiness feeds yours. Unaware empaths are programmed to be basically service machines to people who are in constant need. Maybe this is how you were raised for whatever reason, that your only worth is by being a constant fixer, constant, here, I'll be there for you. You're needy. Let me fix it. Let me be here for you. And narcissists love that. They eat that. They're hungry and they never get full of that. Unaware empaths never check in with their own feelings because they're not taught that they need to do that. They're not taught that their own reality is as important as other people's. So maybe like your whole life, you've been kind of, it was a big deal for me to kind of understand that light bulb over my head. And it was just dealing with people outside of my own world, new people and stuff like that, that made me realize, like, wait a second. Like, other people's reality, just because somebody thinks something and they really believe what they think doesn't mean that's real. And when you're a programmed empath, that you weren't taught that. What somebody thinks or feels, that's the most important thing to you. And it's your job to support it and make sure that it stays secure for them so they feel safe. And that's your worth. So us unaware empaths at a time when we were unaware tend to find people who agree with this type of behavior, one in which someone else is more important than themselves, and that would oftentimes be narcissistic people. So when you break out of that need to kind of like constantly support other people's realities, you're going to lose a lot of narcissistic people in your life, which can be very stressful because sometimes they're family members, sometimes they're parents or siblings or spouses or best friends, coworkers, bosses, and all of a sudden you're left in a different spot. And there's other people for you, trust me. And there's other relationships and there's other situations you can go to, but you got to go find them, and that can be very, very scary. But we're talking about reality today and the nature of it for narcissists versus the rest of us. So their reality is the unaware empath's reality, because that's what unaware empaths do. They absorb a reality of someone else and coexist within it. So the leaving of the reality the narcissist has made is like leaving home. It's like leaving familiarity. It's leaving love that you know, that you think is love. It's more familiar to live in their fantasy than your own reality. And they have you so down on yourself with confidence that your reality doesn't even feel good. It's not even important. It feels kind of empty and sad. It's not hitting the marks because you got so used to outside validation. The only one that matters is theirs. The only reality to the narcissist that matters is the narcissist. And letting you live in it becomes some sort of privilege. A lot of times, unaware programmed empaths, flying monkeys, which are, again, empaths, unaware empaths that absorb the agenda of the narcissist and go do all sorts of things to their benefit. They're almost like proud that they get to live in this special person's reality. And then like everyone else is like, why are you serving them? Like, who is this person? Why are you so scared of this person? Why are you constantly defending this person? Like, why is this person like so great? Why are you upholding the narrative? So narcissists who have their own version of reality. So the only people that can be around them are the ones that support it and live in it too. You can't be part of their reality without believing in it. And unaware and programmed empaths, like, you believe it. So when somebody comes and tells you like, hey, no, like all this is nonsense, you can get defensive. They look for this in you. Narcissists look for your loyalty this way. They test for it. They will severely shun, shut out, and attempt to destroy anyone who does not believe and collaborate within their reality, their narcissist bubble. The narcissist creates this fake version of themselves, like a fake self. This is the fake self who they want everyone to see that they are, that they wish they were, that they think they are, really. Deep down they know they're not, but they think they're this person. And all their stories center around keeping in line with this image in the head of who they are. It's not them at all. It's totally fake. So people who first meet this narcissist meet the fake self. And if you've ever been in a relationship with some sort of narcissist for a while, you know you're supposed to support the storyline of that fake self to new people who enter the realm, which can get very stressful, anxiety-producing, almost paralyzing to you with the responsibility. And what's the number one thing that happens? You often are like, no one will believe me anyways, so I might as well go with it. For example, let's say you have a narcissistic parent who's abusive in whatever ways to you, horrific to you, all the time, doesn't care, cruel at best, maybe other times just non-existent or ambiguous in your life, has zero care or concerns for your emotional or physical or well-being, and then a new neighbor moves in and stops by. All of a sudden, their arms around you, okay, they look at you, the neighbor's like, look at this. You're so lucky that your mom/dad is this person. I wish my mom was like this. Wow. And then what? You agree. Yeah, my mom's great. Yeah, my dad's awesome. You have to. Feels like a whole lie. The fake self is someone you have to uphold that image of and never, ever let on that it's this like duplicitous relationship from the one you have with their actual narcissistic self. Because there is no worth in you, you've been taught, if you don't uphold that image. And that becomes part of your identity as an unaware/programmed empath. So there are types of narcissists, I see, based on aura colors. They can change the way that they rewrite the reality. So I just wanted to go through each aura color and kind of give you, I don't know, like characteristics from that aura color, how it's going to play out in real time. Couple notes. Aura colors are not bad or good. They're just aura colors. It's like a filter. It controls behavior. All right? So, like, there's no bad color at all. I just want to make that clear. It's just aura, and every single aura color can be a narcissist. Every single one. They just kind of change up how they do it. Sometimes the ones that are more easily recognizable are kind of like the red narcissists or the yellow narcissists, even sometimes the green narcissists. Those are the ones that can be a little bit more easy to spot or more like seen in, those are the ones that are more talked about kind of in movies or literature, kind of more, everyone's more upfront about it. And then the other ones, like the empath color ones, those are more kind of covert in their behaviors. But let's go through each one. I'll start with reds. Reds often have this like hero complex. So they were right and everyone else is wrong. All right. They're used to that. They don't mind conflict. So let's say they get mad at the waiter. Well, you better be mad at the waiter too. Okay. Like if you start, if you're with the red narcissist, they start screaming at the wait staff. Well, if you go back and you're like, I'm so sorry. Oh no, you're disloyal. You better be angry too. There's a sense of total and complete domination over the people in their lives. They feel they're smarter, more intelligent. They feel like they have this code of ethics, which is better than even the law. They feel like they often get treated unfairly. They feel like they're totally wronged by other people. Often constant conflict. That's a big thing with the red narcissists. There's always conflict. There's this need to be the most handsome, beautiful, richest, the most devoted of all people to the ones in their life. They need to be the hero. It's a big thing with red narcissists, and that's what their reality looks like to them. Conflict and heroism, and then being kind of sometimes the anti-hero. Yellows. Yellow narcissists are kind of like, there's only one reality, and it's mine. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. The feelings that you had, the moments you experienced. Well, check with me for what happened, because unless I tell you what happened and how it happened and how you feel about it, it didn't happen. They need to be the most correct, elite, and the best. They're the ones that can have like that bit of, elite vibes. They're better than others. They have more class, maybe more socioeconomic status, more pedigree. The reality they have is one where they're basically dealing with minions 24/7, and it's a nightmare for them to be around such ignorant peons. They'll find little things to nitpick or critique to kind of get you off your game. If you go against them, you are just as lowly and disgusting as the other people that we have to deal with in life. And you don't want to be lowly or disgusting to this person. Because, man, they feel that way. That's the thing with their reality. Like, it's true to them, okay? Like, it's true to them. And if you love someone and someone's reality is true to them, it's hard to separate that. Like, you want the person you love. You want to live in that same bubble with them because you love them. So you want to kind of do things that agree with their reality so that you can be with them. But they're the ones making that arrangement. They're the ones making that distinction. They're the ones saying you can't be you and be loved by me. They're saying you have to do what I do and do what I say and believe what I believe and live in my reality to be tolerated by me. Otherwise, nothing. No relationship here. Green, narcissistic people. Greens. It's kind of like if you don't live in my reality, you cease to exist. Green narcissistic behavior people can like definitely cut you off. It's their way or no way. They can tell you what reality is. And if you aren't going to play your part within it that they want, and sometimes it's a bad part. Sometimes they want you to be bad, or they want you to do something not right, or they want you to go against, your morals or something, you'll become invisible to them. They are smarter, more intelligent, more intellectual than anyone else. They have an extra special way of showing their love is conditional. They can feel very cold, yet also extremely desirable. It's almost as if you evaporate if they don't see you. You cease to exist in their mind if you don't play along with their reality. And for an empath, this is horrific because you can feel yourself erasing from their entire mindset, heart, psyche. How many of you have I read with a narcissistic green parent figure? And what did they do? They pressed delete on you. And with the coldness of pressing delete on the keyboard, delete, and they go off and have more kids with someone else. And they have nothing to say to you. That's what green narcissists do. They'll delete you. And because in your reality, which you tried so hard to be part of, you feel deleted because you are. It's horrible. I just want to give you validation if you've been through that because it's very tough. Blues. Okay. As we go into the empath or a narcissist, we're talking blues, purples, indigos, turquoises. These are more difficult. They evoke more sympathy or something. They're kind of like better at playing the emotional card of things. Dare I say it? They're more lovable. So these are the harder ones to spot. We'll start with blues. Blue narcissist realities include a narrative of victimization, which, man, that is constant and consistent. They are the victims. In any sort of rewrite on that where they actually aren't a victim, they will not accept it and effectively have a major emotional breakdown and reactions to it. Sometimes even health breakdowns and reactions. They'll bring their health into it. Oh, my heart. They'll bring up the actual health issues they have. They need to be fed a storyline of basically, oh my God, woe is to you, poor you, and be fed the narrative that they were given the short end of the stick. There is no talking about anything positive to them because they will spin it. And if you actually hold them accountable for something they actually did to make someone else a victim of them, they cannot deal with any personal responsibility. In their reality, when you are not accepting of their reality, you become the horrific monster perpetrator person to their victimhood. And when you love a blue, you do not want to be the perpetrator because you know all the other perpetrators. And man, they get and man, they get talked about. And people get really angry. Like the flying monkeys go crazy, man. And even the outliers, the people that just hear about it, lady sitting next to you in the waiting room or something. Let me tell you about my daughter-in-law. Everyone's like, whoa. That's horrific. What a terrible person. If I ever see her, I won't like her. That's what happens. Nobody wants to be the perpetrator in their reality. Purples. Oh, they're real good. They're real good because purple narcissistic people, because purples are so great at kind of picking up the nuances and they're very intuitive that way. They can really set somebody out that doesn't fit in with their reality of being weird, disgusting, undesirable, not cool, someone to be made fun of if you don't accept their reality. So there's an in crew and an out crew, and you want to be in the in crew. You want to be in the in crowd. It's like Mean Girls, she hated them. She hated Regina George, but she needed to be liked by her because in her reality, they were just so cool. So she needed that. She needed that so bad. That's the thing with purples. You can fear them, these purple narcissists. You can fear them, but you just want to be part of that reality anyhow. They will create, if you step outside of their reality into a conflicting one, they will create storylines around you, create friend groups to go against you, create basically believable scenarios where you become some sort of social pariah in the friend or family group if you do not go along with how they perceive reality, whatever that is. There's a lot of I call it drama testing. They're in some sort of drama cycle. And if you don't react appropriately, fawning all over them or stopping your life to basically listen to them, you become the next target of their attacks. So it's kind of like dodging being the social pariah. You got to dodge it. So it's almost, and then you end up, and this is awful if this has happened to you, but you can sometimes in their friend group, let's point the finger somewhere else so it's not on us, because it can be very vicious. And man, they hit below the belt. Indigos. Yes, indigos can be narcissists. Any aura color can be. Colors don't make you good or bad. Intention does that. Okay? Your intention is what matters, not your aura color. It's just important for me to remind this. And again, these could be actually narcissistic people. Again, I'm not a professional, and we don't diagnose people here. Okay? But people can act narcissistic. So sometimes their behaviors, like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's just like how somebody treats you. And if it's a pattern, it's time to cut them loose. So anyways, indigo narcissists can be a little bit more complicated though. They have these like psychological layers to them. So they can go in deep and get kind of believable, making them harder to spot. They have this reality where they're kind of smarter, more analytical, more understanding of the scenarios in life than anyone else. They do tend to isolate completely and absolutely entirely if people aren't following their reality. They're harder to spot since because they still are indigos, even though they're narcissistic. They really don't care about people being in their world as much as other aura colors. So they can be kind of like narcissists on their own, right? Like it's indigosting narcissists. It's not funny, but it kind of is because they're still indigos. They don't need a whole crew. They can be alone and have their own reality. Be fine with that. I guess the problem with them is they can totally disappear, but they'll take a few people with them. So let's say your brother marries an indigo narcissist. Bye, brother. Say goodbye. You're never seeing him again, or the kids. Okay, it's kind of like, damn, all right, you know, that indigo narcissist, like, indigosted my entire family when my sibling married into him or married into that family. That's what they'll do. A lot of estrangements can be caused by that type of situation, an indigo narcissist. That's just one example. Turquoises. Okay, turquoises have a hard time living in turquoise narcissists have a hard time living in a world with personal responsibility. They're super big on telling everyone how they think reality is, and if somebody has an oppositional opinion, they will absolutely freak out. They cannot handle anyone else disagreeing with their reality. Some narcissists, the difference with turquoises not liking other people, not agreeing with their reality versus like everyone else, is turquoises will go after you for it. They won't just be like, we're done. They actually will double down in trying to get you. They'll double down on their own reality, and they'll double down on getting people to believe in it, and they'll double down on getting you to believe in it too. So kind of like a turquoise narcissist, they can come after you a little hard because they're going to be like, no, this is what happened. See. And they will not let it go. They're like very absorbed in making sure they're not confronted with the fact that they were incorrect. It's like they can't deal with, and I think that's because turquoises naturally do absorb into other people's realities. So if their narcissist bubble bumps against your reality, they absorb it and they want to kind of almost like exercise it from their own narcissist bubble. And they have to do that very actively, if that makes sense. So that's that. Pinks. Here's the thing. I mean, I just don't have enough information, like with pinks, and I'm sure there are pink narcissists out there, but like, honestly, the worst I've seen out of pinks is when they're kind of just selfish and oblivious. I mean, that's like the worst I can see of them so far in life. They do have escapism things, so it's possible that they love their alternate. See, pinks already live in their own kind of reality. Usually it just happens to be a really sweet, innocent one, which is just like not harmful to anybody. And the way that they love people is by bringing them in so they can have escapism too. But I guess like a pink narcissist would do that in a negative way. I just don't have any examples for you because I haven't seen that yet. If I see it, I'll let you know. All right. So what do we do? What do we do? Okay. It's time to recognize when you're dealing with people who are hell-bent on what their own reality is, it's time to break your pattern of supporting it. Time to ask questions, give different perspectives. Recently, because, I don't know, like growing up a certain way and then like having a different friend group has been helpful to me, because I see how it's supposed to be versus what I thought it was supposed to be, which is why I do all these episodes on it. So recently I was with some friends because an incident had happened, and I was with friends and we were talking about it, and everyone was just giving their own perspectives as to what happened. Okay. This is normal. This is normal. It wasn't finger pointing or accusations. It was just like, well, I think that this is what happened, and, and kind of like above what was going on to a solution, but not a victimization narrative. There wasn't some sort of revenge narrative. There wasn't some sort of, there wasn't any anger. It was just, wow, this happened. These are all our thoughts of the perspective of it, and they were different. Everybody had kind of different, and everybody was listening to each other, and that's normal. When talking to a narcissist or somebody who displays narcissistic tendencies, you can't do that. Your only insight has to be the one that they've given to you that supports their reality. Normal conversations, this might be news to some of you because it was news to me, are about, let's see it from this angle, let's see it from that angle, let's see what it is, without some sort of blame game going on. Not this one way ever of seeing something from from one, bubbled up person's perspective. When you grow up around this programming, it's hard to reprogram yourself for relationships where this is, more viewpoints than the one person's you were always used to supporting. At first, it can seem disloyal or mean to think about other ways reality can be interpreted away from the one mindset that you're used to. But honestly, stepping into your power as an empath is about going inward, and asking yourself these questions. So let's talk about how to check whether someone is rewriting reality or not. So, the world for a narcissistic person is basically a retelling. They love to tell a story. They're the rewriters of their own history. They always have it's funny. They always have, you'll see kind of like patterns. They have the story of themselves, kind of like an origin story, like Spider-Man or something, and they'll give their own origin story. But the story seems to have a pattern to them. They were, where they were the main star or the victim, center of attention either way. And the best one amongst a sea of people who either noticed it and adulated them for it, or, victim side, didn't notice them, made them feel an outcast for their brilliance. And anyways, either way, they're always a shining star in a dark night. So they tell a story about themselves. It's like, wow, you really think you're special, either negatively or positively. That's the difference. Like sometimes like when I was talking about the green, yellow, and the red narcissistic things, it's more like, I'm the shining star. I'm the best. I'm the right one. But with the, blues, indigos, and turquoises, I'm victimized. With the purples, it's like, I'm the only normal one. Everybody else is weird, like that. Lots of times you'll believe it and defend it to others too. You want to believe it. It's a really nice story. Also ask yourself inside if you're hearing these stories over and over again and you feel defensive of the telling of it, that's a red flag. Like if somebody kind of like always has a story about themselves or something and somebody else questions it and all of a sudden you get like really upset, take a minute and just take a minute and step back and be like, well, how do I know that's true anyways? Was it just a retelling, or I've seen behavior that actually backs up what they're talking about? You want to believe things deep down, recovering empath style. That the thing, and this is where it really comes up. That they need you to believe it, and they need other people to believe it. Like you're just protecting their subconscious inner broken child. Over time, if you're doing this for a spouse or a family member often, or a best friend, you can get very defensive of the made-up reality of the narcissistic person in your life. And then you start to hold the shame for also believing it deep down, so you wish it to be true. And oftentimes that's how it keeps going on. You don't want to constantly have been defending something and believing something and creating a whole identity around something that wasn't true your whole life. But that's part of the recovering empath process, is breaking that and going inward. And that's why in that process, I talk about getting angry, getting victimized, getting angry. Like those are normal steps. All the stories that they tell tend to lead to praise, shock, glory. There is some moment in their retelling of history that you are shocked, like anything that they are telling you that happened. And this isn't, like I said, once or twice as a repeated pattern. So it's like some sort of event in their stories where it's like, that that person seriously said that to you? Like, I've never seen that ever happen. Like, where were you? Who does that? Now, when you're dealing with an actual narcissist, you can't ask those questions, all right? Because they'll come after you. But notice that. Like, if you retell it to somebody else and they're like, what? Nobody says that to anybody. What was she doing to get that response from somebody? None of that even makes sense. Wait a second. That can't even happen. Like, the law of physics doesn't even accept that as true. So notice, like, if things are, like, unbelievable, but you're not allowed to question them. And also, they sway the story to get you to think the way that they want you to think. So retelling a story normally is, like, where you just tell what happened. And there can be, like, a lot of different perspectives. Like, oh, maybe this happened. Oh, maybe that happened. When a narcissist retells a story, it's like, oh, my God. Like, they lead you to believe and get, like, one answer. So they already kind of have how they want you to respond set out. And it's just naturally, like, corrals people to the conclusion that they need. And like I said, this isn't just once or twice. This is all the frickin' time where, again, they're either the star or the victim of the show. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about rewriting reality because it's something that we've been talking about reality last week, and we're talking about reality in a different way this week. And it's just a little red flag to help you point out behavior in others, behavior in yourself, so that you can just make the best choices for who and how you deal with the people around you. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. Miss Michaela, would you mind for now calling me Dr. Scotty?
Hey, Dr.
When you introduce
Scotty.
me, I did go to Harvard. I studied at the Dumbarton Library.
Yes,
Okay.
lots of little facts there,
Yes.
anecdotes.
Yes.
Listen, I hope that from today you just took that a lot of times certain people in your life can distort reality. And a lot of you are empaths, and empaths in such a deep way that you feel to love somebody is to believe them all the time and not question them and step into their reality 100 million %. And sometimes those people that you do that for don't really deserve it. The people that do deserve it, it's a beautiful gift you can give them, that you see them and validate them. But the people that manipulate that and use that to keep their own falsified reality at the front and center, that's not something you have to do anymore. So I hope that just helps you maybe recognize those people in your lives who may be using your beautiful gift for their own benefit and not for the benefit that it's really meant for. Your beautiful gift is meant to validate the people that need it. It's meant to nourish and see and love the people that can pay it forward. So just trying to hope that it's helped you the way that this realization has helped me a lot. And that was really my goal today with that.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, for me, when I deal with someone who's a narcissist or...
Well, they don't like you.
They usually don't go near me, but if they do, my always thought is just take away their power. Just that's how I deal with it. That's my
What do you
take
mean
on
by
it.
that?
Meaning, like, don't let them have anything over you. Like, once they have no power, then there's nothing they can do to you.
So what do you mean?
So meaning, like, let's say let's just make up an example. Let's say they pay one of your bills every month.
Okay.
Or something like that. Or they pay your rent. Or
you
whatever.
live with them.
Or you live with
Yeah.
them. Or you rely on them for a car ride.
Yes.
Or some things like that. My thing when dealing with someone like that is just don't need them anymore.
That's really powerful.
Because once you cut that away, once I got to listen to this because they pay my phone bill. Or I got to listen to this because they pay, half my rent.
Yeah.
If they can't do that anymore, and you don't need them for anything, then they're powerless. That's just like words that they're saying.
Yes. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
A lot of people who've escaped these types of relationships in their life actually go on to be super successful and self-sufficient because you just don't ever want to owe anybody anything, which can be a problem on the other end later because there's good people in your life that do want to help you and don't expect negative things in return. But so if you're living with this person, try to find a way out of it. If they're still on, like you said, like part of the phone plan or something.
Yeah. And I do want to say this, that, back in the day, and I know this is harder to do than said because sometimes you do need that ride or you do need that money or you do need that.
You got to survive.
It's for me to just say that it's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, you have to survive.
I do remember, back years ago when we were together, saying there's going to come a time where that's how I'm going to do this, where I'm going to say, we're not going to need this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be totally independent.
Yeah.
And then you have no power.
Right.
I remember saying that to myself many times in my head when things were, going like, I don't know what you call that, the narcissist route.
Yeah.
And they were winning. Like, it felt like they were winning.
They're manipulating.
And they were manipulating.
They're manipulating your weakness.
But I always said, all right, they got me now. Right now, they got me.
Yeah.
But there's going to come a time when they don't.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And again, not the easiest thing in the world to do.
No, it's taken like years.
Oh, yeah. It took me years. Like I said, I just got smart the last 5 years.
Right.
So
no, it's definitely a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah. But when you make a stride, please take credit for it. I mean, that's something I had a hard time doing. And when you make a stride, like, try and make sure somebody else doesn't take that from you. Yeah. Like, that's your accomplishment. That's something you did. And people, I guess, you don't have to need somebody to show them that you love them either. So you don't have to stay dependent on somebody. You can make choices to get independent from them. And if it's supposed to still be a relationship, there'll be a relationship. Yeah. That's a good point. Thank you, Scott, for presenting that nuance, which I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, that's how.
That makes a lot of sense because you live with them or
that's
something.
my take on it. Yeah,
that's good. All right. Of course, your stories are the best, you all. So please share them over on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family page. Just so you know, on the Facebook group, there is an anonymous posting option. I want to tell you that because I think sometimes you get people get nervous, like, oh, I don't want to put my story out there on the group, even though it's a closed group. So you can do it anonymously.
Yes,
and
that's a new feature.
Yeah. It's a new feature on there, that we know about. Look, Leanna, the admin, actually found it. I was like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. Thank you. And people have been using it, and I just think it's great for a lot of us. So anyways, this podcast is for you and about you, and we're so happy you spent some time with us today. Take care.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing while you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies, and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture, and then we cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy podcast on your podcast app.